These are the brushes that I use to create my realistic wildlife art. Paintings like this, 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 and this, which is actually going to be the demo in today's video. I'm going to show you exactly how I use each of the brushes in here to create my paintings. One of the best things about these brushes that you don't get in regular brush sets is the length of the bristles. And that helps so much with the painting and the cleanup. But more on that a little bit later. Now, let's take a look at the brushes. A huge mistake that beginners always make is jumping straight into the details, and that can ruin a painting, which is why I use this flat brush. It's relatively big for the canvas that I'm using, so I can just focus on getting the big, important shapes down. It doesn't matter if I'm using acrylics or oils, I can use these brushes for any kind of paint. For this one, I'm using oils, and I'm only using 3 colours to start off with, to try and challenge myself to just think of the biggest shapes in the simplest values. And I love how easy it is to control the paint with this brush. It's almost like sculpting with the paint. The next brush that I use is a similar size, but a slightly different shape. The first brush let me block in the big, solid structures. This brush lets me do it too, but it also allows me to create some softer edges, which is really, really important when you're creating a painting. The softer edges allow you to create smoother transitions between the colours of the paint, which is going to make the painting look more three-dimensional as those edges soften and transition into each other, rather than looking blocky and cartoony. These larger brushes are so helpful for blocking in the painting, where I'm not focusing on details, I'm just trying to get those big shapes. Beginners often skip this step, thinking that the details are the most important part of the painting, when in reality, this early ugly stage is so much more important. This foundation is going to influence the entire painting, and if it's bad, it can ruin an entire painting too. So I always make sure to take my time with this initial blocking step. Once that foundation's there, now I can start to scale down the size of my brushes. A flat brush for solid detail work around the eyes, the nose, the mouth, things like that. Basically anywhere that has hard edges. I can use the flat edge to get large sculptural marks, or I can use it on its side to get longer, thinner marks. It might not look like it, but I'm actually still not focusing on details at this stage. I'm thinking more about texture and form, and thinking about the slightly smaller shapes now that are gonna help me describe that form. I'm still taking my time with this process, and I would still actually describe this as a partially ugly stage. We're getting there, but there's still a lot to be done before this is going to be called a finished painting. And those steps are going to include some of the other brushes and some of the older ones that we've already used. So we're not just getting smaller brushes and more detailed, there's a little bit more to it than that. The next brush is a similar size again, but again it's a different shape. It's a filbert brush, which is what gives it that rounded edge. That curved edge allows me to create softer brush strokes, which is perfect for things like trailing fur and fluffy feathers. I still don't want to go overboard with the details, as again, even at this stage, too many details can ruin a painting and make it look really flat. I just need to go in and soften some of those new, smaller shapes that I added with the flat brush. It's subtle, but it is making a difference. I'm not copying the photo reference exactly. I'm just thinking one very important question as I paint. Will painting details here make the painting look better? It's a super simple question. And if the answer is yes, then great, I'd go ahead and paint those details in. If it's no, then I don't want to waste my time or effort adding loads and loads of tiny details that aren't going to have any effect on the painting and aren't going to improve it. That doesn't mean that I don't add tiny little details. I do, but I do it in a very specific way. And I have 2 brushes to do that. But before we get onto those, I've got a background to paint, plus a little bit of something extra. This is where I go back to the original big brushes. So not only are they great for blocking in the subject, they're also fantastic for doing the backgrounds as well. Because a lot of wildlife art, well, it feels a little bit lost, a little bit out of place, if you don't have that background in there as an environment for the animal to live in. And I like to paint the background at the same time as the subject, so that I can blend the edges together and soften them and make it look like they're actually part of the same painting, rather than the background or the subject being an afterthought. Before we get on to the details, there's another thing that I'd like to show you, another technique that we can use the bigger brushes for, and that is glazing. Once this stage of the painting is completely dry, I can start to add so much more to the painting with just a few very, very thin layers of paint. I can start to add a little bit more saturation, more contrast, more vibrancy to the painting. I can adjust the colours and add shadows, making the painting feel more alive. This is a technique that I use in every painting. It is absolutely essential whether I'm doing oil paints or acrylics. But it's not the end of the painting just yet. There's still quite a bit of work to do that is going to completely change how this painting looks at the moment. And I'm going to use 2 brushes to do that. The first brush is this one, a small flat brush. This is great, again, for blocking in those smaller sculptural shapes that allow me to follow the form of the subject that I'm trying to paint and make me really think about those edges and those structures to give a fully 3D looking painting. It's great, those areas around the eye, the nose, the mouth, and even shorter strands of fur. This is probably one of my go-to brushes from the entire set. And this is where I can really go to town with those details. Well, most of them at least. There's still one more brush that I've got to use that's really going to take this piece to the next level. And then the final brush that I use is a small round brush. And this is perfect for those tiny little details around the focal point. Perfect for things like the eyes, smaller strands of longer curled fur, and the whiskers. One of the best things about these brushes that you don't get in regular brush sets is the length of the bristles. And that helps so much with the painting and the cleanup, because we all know that cleaning brushes is the worst part of any painting process. Because these brushes are so long, if we compare that to a second brush, a regular filbert brush, you can see the difference there. They're both about the same width, but mine has a significantly longer bristle. It has a huge impact on the painting process. So I can load significantly more paint on here without it going close to the handle of the brush, which means I can get loads and loads of paint for long, smooth strokes, but my paintbrushes don't end up looking like this, where we've got loads of dried paint all up around the handle, and it ruins the brush. This entire set is part of a collaboration between myself and Craftimo. They are 100% cruelty-free, This brush set was created with control in mind, which is why we named it the Studio Wildlife Precision Brush Set. And if you'd like to get a hold of these brushes, and hopefully they'll help you to improve your paintings, then I'll leave a link in the description so that you can sign up and get notified when they become available. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.